Good day and welcome to the part 2 of our Django class. So today we'll be doing the continuation of what we stopped before. So if you didn't watch our last video, so I'm going to drop the link in the description below so that you can go through that. So today we're going to be walking through our database setup, the Django models, and also talking about some of our installed apps. So first of all, let's move to our settings.py. So right here, we're having these installed apps right here. So we're having the Django contrib admin, contrib alt, contrib content type, section, message, and static file. So I'm going to explain what each one of them does. So first of all, this contrib.admin, what it does is that it's just the one that manages the admin site, which we're going to talk we're going to touch it in this part because we'll be creating our models. Also we need to see whatever we are creating on the admin on Django admin interface. So we have any contrib.auth, which is the one working for the authentication system, the login, the logout, and so on. So Django is having its own built-in authentication system. We don't need to be creating authentication system on from scratch. We have any content type, which is just a framework for our content types we have in Django. Section is just to get the required section for each part we are working on. We're having the messaging framework. That's the one giving us messaging errors, anything dealing with message. And also we're having static files. So this one is managing the static files. For example, our JavaScript, our styling CSS, and so on. So now the first thing we'll be doing right here is creating my model. So like we say, it's a polling application. So I'll come down here to let's start by going to our models. So moving to my models.py. Models.py. So I can close all this tab for now. So now I'm dealing with my models, so I can erase this. So now first of all, we're having from Django.db, that's from Django.database, import models. So model is a function inside this Django.db library. So the first one we're doing is class question. So class question models.model. So we are calling for these models. So this was important. So it's having a function size called model. So that's how we define our model. So this is the model name, which can be any name you want to give it. But right here, it's a polling system. So I'm using question, and I'll be using choice for the answer or whatever the user is taking. So question models the model. So I can now say question text question underscore text. So I'm calling for a variable is equals to. So we're having different type of data types for our models. So normally in Python we have integer, string, float, list, and so on. But Django it's a bit different but almost similar. So instead of telling it is the string, so it's used char field instead of a string because now we're dealing with a database. So normally our SQL knows that as varchar. So in SQL we call it varchar, but in our Django model we use the word char field. So I'll call for models dot char char field. So now I have to indicate the max length. So the maximum length it should accept. So the maximum length for this question was let me make it 250. And also the publish date, so I use pub underscore date. So that's the date published. So now for publish date now, also the data type we're going to be using is called date time field. So we call it models dot date time field. So I'm giving it the name date published. So we're having this, but I don't want to be because now for this I'll be the one choosing the date and time, the date and time myself. So I want to get the date and time automatically. So what I'll just do is come here. I'm going to, it's having, so I'll just say, okay, so now we're going to be using auto underscore now is equals to auto now add is true. So now we're having auto now add, and we're also having auto now auto underscore now should be equals to false. So difference between this is auto now true is going to get that. So auto now underscore add is going to get true because that's the time the it's going to get the time and date the user is adding the question automatically, and then it's going to give you the time. So that's what I'm using instead of me setting the time myself. So now that will be all for our questions. We have the question text and the published date. So the next one is the choice the user is taking. So it will be class choice. So also models dot model. So now we are having we have to connect the question the choice to this to the question so that we can know which choice is the user choosing for each question. So now building what we call a foreign key. So in our database management, we know that foreign key is just making a relation between two different tables, because this question is a table, this choice also is a table on its own. So now this we're making a reference by using this question using a foreign key. Using a foreign key, now we are referencing back to this table. So now we think that this and this table is connected to this table. So question, I'm having choice text, choice text as a chart feed also. So this is the choice the user is taking, and then votes. So vote model dot, so we're using so instead of using int, so it's called integer field here as for number, integer field. What is it? Okay, integer field field. So let's say default should be 0. Default should be equals to 0. So now integer field, okay, models, not model. So now the integer field is only going to get number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 without taking any floats. So this vote will be counting the number of choice text under each question that users are voting, users are choosing. Let me use that. So now we're having our question, we're having our choice. So next one we're moving on is we now have to send this to our database, because right now, because like I said before, Django is an ORM framework. So instead of you writing your script for your database, you just define it in our models, and then we use this command to send it to the database. So first I will say Python manage.py make migrations. So first of all, it's going to create a migrations file. So it's telling me model error Django does db models as not attribute char field. Do you mean char? Oh, this F supposed to be in capital letter. This F right here. So C is getting capital letter, F is taking capital letter. So now we have to run that command again. Python-py make migrations. So now you can see it's creating a model for question, also creating a model for choice. So now if I come inside this file here, come to see the latest migration is created, which is this 001 underscore initial.py, which is this 001 underscore initial.py. We can see right here, you can see now it's trying to, so initial is true. So it's trying to create a model for question ID. So big auto created true primary key. So it's writing a script for us instead of you writing the script yourself. So this is the migration file. This man just pure migration created. So now after this, I will now have to migrate it to my database. So it's be the one creating the table. So that'll be Python manage.py migrate. So it's going to apply the migration to this table. Now we are using SQLite 3. So SQLite 3 is the default database for Django. So we having the kind of database, having the PostgreSQL, MySQL, Oracle SQL. That's under. So now under NoSQL, having the MongoDB, Cassandra, GraphQL, and so on. But right now we're using SQLite 3 because we are still on development base. So we are still running everything on our local machine. But assuming we are going online, going for production base, we can now move to using that. We normally mostly use PostgreSQL, but there are some cases that we use Oracle SQL, MongoDB, and so on. But now we'll be using SQLite 3. So now let's take my SQLite 3 now. So I can see now I'm having this post underscore choice. So post is the app name, which the table name will give its choice and question. So I'm able to view this because I'm using a extension called SQLite Viewer. So is it SQLite? So I'm using this SQLite Viewer. So it's one enabling me to view this database. So you can install that extension into your Visual Studio Code. So now let's continue with this. So after doing that, so the next thing we now do is okay. Now, because if I add values to my database now, I'll be having okay. Let's add that. So before this, now we have to create because okay. Let's run server Python manage.py run server. So if I come back to the URLs here, we can see we're having a part called admin. So that's our administrator dashboard. So now we'll be going there now. So that's 127.0.0.1 at port 8000/admin. So now it's asking us to log in as an administrator. So now we don't have the username and password. So now we have to come back to our VS Code. So you break this up, you stop this server with Control C. So I can now say, so now to create a super user, to create a admin, which also called super user, we use this command Python manage.py create super user. So it asks for our username. So let me I'm using Oradale. Email amatershow.rove@oratech.com.ng. Password RAUL. It didn't match, so I have to type again. Okay, so my super user is created successfully. So I can now run my server again. So Python manage.py run server. Go back to my web browser. So I can refresh this, and now I can input in the value. I can input in the username and password I just created now. So username oradev, password. So then I'll be given access into this. But right here we can see the choice and the question we created. So now we need to do a configuration under this admin part. So like I said before, this admin.py is one we use in configuring the model we want to show in our in our administrative dashboard. So right here, I'll be coming to say, so from dot models, import question and choice. So now admin dot site dot register question, also admin dot site dot register choice. So right now we're going to have these two, question and choice, in our administrative on our admin dashboard. So I can reload now. So I'm having question and choice. So let's say I'm creating a new question, add question, what framework does Python use for web, web development? Development. So let me say I'm saving this question. So I say now we're having question object 1. If I create another one, we're having question object 2. Next one will be a question object 3, and so on. But now I can identify which of the question, unless I want to edit one or not. So I can identify that. So now I'll be coming back right to our VS Code, go back to our models.py. Now under this class, we need to create a new function which is called def underscore str double underscore again self. So I'll explain this. So let's go. So we're going to say return. So now we can return either the question text or the published, but it's more meaningful to return the question text, because that's the main identifier. So we can say question dot self dot question underscore text. So what this str is doing is just calling for a method in my model. This str. So it's going to be is dealing with the interactive prompt. So it's getting the object. So it's going to object to return this question underscore text. So we're going to do the same thing to our choice. So I'm going to say, so def underscore str underscore self. So I'm going to return CURN self dot choice test underscore text. So now if I come back here to reload now, I should be having the question now. What framework does Python use for web development? So that's very straightforward. So after that, okay, after that now we can also create choice for, we can also create our choice also. So let's say I'm having choice like okay, let's go back to our admin. Let's say we want to create choice. So add choice. So question after choose question. So this is the question. So choice test. Let me say I'm saying React JS. So save and add another same question. I say I'm having Kiwi. Another the same question. Let's say I'm having Django. The next one, let's say I'm having okay, let me just give it open AI. Okay, so I think that's all. Okay, now I have to add a field. Okay, so now we can see we're having every of the choice I created. Also, something like this is not very clear to use also, because you don't know which questions having this and so on. So I'll come to do something else in my model. So let me put my VS Code. So in my model, I can come to say, so I won't be using this again. I can now say return turn. So now I'll be using the string format method. So I can also self dot question self dot question. So I'm calling for this. So now I need this question text inside it. So dot question underscore text. So I'm calling for this question, which is this. And now I'm now calling for the question text inside it. I can now say into after that, now put into brackets self dot, oh sorry, it should be a curly brace, not a square bracket, self dot choice text, choice underscore text. So now if I go back to my, okay, this reloaded, okay, now if I go back to my browser and reload, now I'll be having the question. I need to bracket the choice. So you can ask this big more since you can know which question is having this option and so on. So now we'll be stopping there for our second part now, and the third part we'll be moving into working on the views and so on. So, and please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.